Move out of the way, Tiny House Nation. Sims 4 Tiny Living has arrived. Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel and back to another video. Today I'm going to be giving my review of The Sims 4 Tiny Living. This is presented by EA Game Changers. Thank you EA for providing me with a copy of this pack. Just because they've provided me with a copy of the pack does not mean that my thoughts are influenced in any way. I'm not paid to say anything. It'd take a lot more than a £7.99 pack to buy my opinion, hence. All these opinions are my own. And today I'm going to be reviewing it, and I'm going to be talking first about the parts of the pack that I like, and then I'm going to be talking about parts of the pack that I think are a bit of a flop. To be honest, stick around if you want. Please subscribe if you haven't already and all that, blah, blah, blah. My coffee is here, my acne is back, and we're ready to talk some Caroline Flack. You probably already know what Sims 4 Tiny Living stuff pack is because I'm actually late with my review. I was visiting family in Ireland, so I can't help it if I'm a family oriented. I'm sorry. But if you don't know what it is, it's a stuff pack and you can make tiny homes with it. Now, let's just start and get on into it. So what I really like about this pack is the fact that it actually comes with a new category for houses. So there's 3 tiers that you can have. You can have a micro home, which is 32 tiles, a tiny home, which is 64 tiles, and then you can have a small home, which is 100 tiles. It only includes things that are categorized as a room. So if you put a carpet down on just the floor, it won't register as a room. And you can thank me for that happening because I said no, carpets on the grass should not count. So you're welcome, hennies. And each of these things also have their own benefits as well. The bigger you get, the less benefits that there are. So with the micro home, you have light in the load, which means low bills. Everybody gets along, where all relationship gains are doubled. That's just how far along things move when you're in such a confined space. If you've ever watched Love Island, like, there's your evidence. And then you got Let It Grow, which means that your plants go twice as fast. I did try and test this in game, so here's some footage of me testing that. But my stupid ass planted the wrong plants, and I was like, well, this is obviously broke, is it not? Because it's not grown. But I just planted them in the wrong season. But the other plant that are actually in season, they do go twice as fast as normal, which is obviously very helpful if you're living in a tiny home. You can make money faster. Then you got feeling fine all the time. You've got the touch, so your skills increase, and you've got cozy comfort, so everything is twice as comfortable, which is a lot of benefits for living in a tiny home. And then as you get to tier 2, you get less benefits, and then as you get to tier 3, I think you only get a couple of the benefits. So there's a lot there. For me, this is my favorite part of the actual pack, this new category that we can build in. And as well as that, it just completely opens up a new way to live, because we love tiny homes in The Sims, but they didn't really have any benefits to them apart from how you portrayed living in a tiny home. Do you know what I mean? But now if you live in a tiny home, the buffs make you want to live in a tiny home, you know? It is actually quite hard to make more than just 2 Sims live in a tiny home. It's quite challenging, I'm not gonna lie. I tried to build a tiny home, I've done one on a video, and then I made one to put over this one. It is kind of a struggle, it really is, and that's going to be a challenge, which is definitely something that's needed in The Sims 4, trying to make a full family live in a tiny home. That is the kind of challenge that I'm after. I want things to be difficult, I really do, and I appreciate that we're getting things like this, and boundaries to work with. I really like that that's coming in the game. Boundaries are something I need, because I don't even notice, hens, I've got no boundary, no. But restrictions are definitely something that's been lacking in the game, and restrictions have been lacking for a while. It's almost too open, if you will, and when things are too open and you've got to do everything, you don't want to do everything. That's the actual basis of the game. For me, that's the main selling point, this edition that we have. I think it's really cool. It's definitely something new that's been introduced to the Sims franchise as a whole, I'm pretty sure. This is stuff that I like to see, stuff that changes the game in a way it's never been changed before. I'm liking it. Create Sim items are really nice as well. I am a big fan of them. One example is the hairs that we've got. The hairs are absolutely beautiful. We've got some hairs for females and also for males, and what I like about this as well is 2 of the female hairs are also available for children, and then 2 of the male hairs are available for children as well. This is something that I really love, because it's just kind of annoying sometimes when there's a really nice adult hair and then it's not there for kids, so I like that that's been included. The overall style of the clothes in this pack as well, I really like. I didn't really like them that much on the trailer. I'll hold my hands up. In the trailer, I wasn't a fan of them, but the clothes are very nice, and they're also really well suited to this pack. It kind of gives a hipstery vibe, which is how I brand a lot of people who live in tiny homes, you know, that hipstery look. Maybe sculpts glass, it's a part-time job and makes £1 million, but is humble, so lives in a tiny home. That's the kind that I'm seeing here. However, I'll talk about this more at the end, but I am just going to address some of the hair swatches are pretty messed up in Create a Sim. This is something that I don't understand, because for me, they must have noticed, like, Howie, Jesus, come on. It's glaringly obvious that some of the swatches are messed up for this pack. It makes no sense, love. They must have seen that them swatches don't match match up. And it's a very small issue, but it's an issue nonetheless. I mean, this is not like an indie game. The Sims team, I love yous, but like, come on now, step your game up. It sticks out like a sore thumb when you see them two ginger hairs in Create Sim. There's also no clothes for children or toddlers, which I would have liked to have seen it, but I also understand because Tiny Living's kind of a millennial thing and The Sims 4 is kind of a millennial simulator. I'm still not 100% happy about that, but I can understand it to some extent. What I can't understand, however, is the fact that there's no new traits and no new aspiration with this pack. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I think at least one trait with this stuff pack, 2 traits with the game pack, and at least 3 traits with an expansion pack, because claustrophobic trait would have been brilliant for this, so I could have made Gemma Collins in The Sims, but Gemma Collins nowhere to be seen. I'm not getting involved. Traits could have been a really good way to make this pack deeper. The clothes are nice and that, but I'd rather have had the traits, you know. Now we move on to objects that are included in the game. Now, I'm not gonna lie. Sorry, let me just have a sip because I'm a little bit parched. I've been talking for quite a while. So the objects that are included in the game, I'm a big fan of. I really am. I think they're absolutely stunning. The design choice is beautiful. The swatches are all great. They all match. They also fit very well with items that are already in the game without necessarily looking like they've been ripped off from other items in the game. For example, the child's desk that came with My First Pet stuff was very blatantly copied off Cats and Dogs. This doesn't feel like that. It just feels like it can be merged with other packs. Cats and Dogs, sorry to bring it up again, but that objects that came with Cats and Dogs I really struggle to use because the swatches with them just don't suit anything else in game, and I don't see myself having the same issue with this stuff. And I really like that they played on the more modern style. It is very hipstery, it is very millennial, but it works to the benefit in this one because the style is just absolutely beautiful. You can shot these in any build and they'd be great. And one thing I particularly enjoy, which I'm just going to highlight for a second, is the new light that comes with it, because the Sims lights, they need a dramatic change, I'm not going to lie, but the lights that come with this pack actually light up a room, and you can see the difference here between the 2 lights and how much the light that came with this pack actually adds in terms of brightness. So I love that. I love a light room because I think I've got seasonal affective disorder. I also really enjoy the detail with the Murphy bed. I love the fact that you can use a little remote with it. I love the animations when you're trying to pull the bed down and it smacks you. It's fun to me. Like, that kind of thing is The Sims humor. It's just little things like that that bring that spark back to me that I used to have when I played this game as a kid. So I'm impressed by that. The design choice of this pack is absolutely stunning. I can't fault it there. Aesthetically, it's beautiful. All the items in Create Sim and all the items in Build and Buy, innovative, stunning. Never been done before. And also the fact that some objects can be used as multiple things, like the TV is also a stereo, and I think it's also a bookshelf, I'm pretty sure, or there is a combo of that, so that I really like, and that is definitely very good with this whole tiny living thing. And you can also die, which is great. I love a challenge, and I sat for ages and ages and ages putting this bloody bed up and down and up and down and up and down trying to make my sim die, and then would you believe it, she did. Miss Keisha. And I love the fact that even though she's dead, she's still pointing them feet. Miss Abby Lee would be proud of you, honey boo. That's everything that I liked about the pack. Now, I am going to talk about things that I don't like about the pack. This is all constructive criticism. I'm not just hating on it for the sake of hating on it. I really, really, really do like the whole premise of this pack. I think the idea behind it is great, but it did kind of fall short for me, and I'm going to tell you as to why. So, I don't know, grab a cup of tea or whatever. The first thing I'm going to talk about that I don't like, which I did touch on earlier, we'll go back to Create Sim. I really don't like that there's no new traits, and I really don't like that there's no new aspirations. I feel like they overdone it in Create Sim. The stuff that we got is beautiful. It really is. But was it necessary? I don't think so. I think they could have stripped back on Create Sim and put that effort into traits or some new objects. So that's my 2 cents on that one. I don't know if there's different teams that work on clothes and then that work on objects. I don't know. So it might not have been that much extra energy for them to make them kind of things in Create Sim. I'm just saying, if it did take more energy, I think they could have stripped back there. So that's my view on Create Sim. Definitely needed some new traits. The fact we don't have a claustrophobic trait is absolutely big fat beyond me. I don't get it. Now for Build and Buy. I am impressed with the objects. Absolutely beautiful. I'm definitely going to use these objects again and again and again. They are definitely very versatile, but I am also struggling to see the whole tiny living thing about it. I don't know. This is just my opinion. I'll give credit where credit's due. The TV stand that's got the radio and the bookshelf in it. Really like that. I like the fact we've got a smaller dresser. Beautiful. The Murphy bed. Now this could just be me. I mean, Murphy beds aren't really a thing in England. We don't really have them. I don't even know if they're a thing in America, really. I don't know if they're just like a thing that exists on TV, like a nuclear family. But for me, is there much point in the Murphy bed in terms of tiny living apart from just aesthetics? Like, it looks nice to have it up with a shelf on in a city, but it takes up the exact same amount amount of space as an actual bed, and a bed can double as a settee as well. So it's not like you can have the Murphy bed up and then place a dining room table in front of it. You can't do anything like that. So I'm kind of struggling to understand why a Murphy bed was chosen over perhaps a bunk bed. I'm just gonna say it. As much as it's cool, it really is, I don't get it. What's the point? You might as well just put a bed there. Do you know what I mean? I'm not eating on anyone's parade or out like that, but like, how I just feel like they could have went further with this, because I just don't see the point in the Murphy bed. Also, a lot of the objects aren't that small, and I don't get why they've been included in this pack. I'm happy that they're here, don't get me wrong, but for example, we've got a high bar table. It's beautiful, it's stunning. The chairs that come with it, I love them, absolutely amazing, but they take up the exact same amount of space as just a normal table and chairs. I would have liked to seen objects that were new, that had functions that were exclusive to this pack. Like maybe we've got a toilet and we've got a sink, but the sink could have had a shower mixed into it or something. Do you know what I'm saying? Because with the TV, we've got the TV and the stereo, like them two are mixed into one. So why hasn't the sink got a shower mixed into it? Because we've got no shower and bath situation, and they're sometimes the hardest thing to fit into a tiny build. So I feel like that could have been taken further. And also, I feel like some of these objects we could have just not had, and we could have focused on something like ladders. This is something that I didn't even realise in the trailer, and then some of you pointed it out to me. The fact that we've got no ladders, and then I read your comments and I was like, yeah, why have we not got ladders? I would have much preferred to have no create sim and had the addition of ladders. There's not that many items that are exclusive to tiny living or that help out with tiny living. In reality, we've got the Murphy bed, which is kind of just the same as having a normal bed, and then we've got the bookshelf radio TV situation. You know, nothing else really helps that much in terms of tiny living. The objects that we've got, they're just, what's the point in them? Do you know what I mean?
It's not relevant, is it?
One big criticism that I always have of The Sims 4, it's just too easy. All the benefits that we get with living in a tiny house are great. I love them, and they really do impact your gameplay, and it's great, and I can understand they all fit in, and I'm happy with them. But also, where's the negatives? Because life isn't always plain sailing, let me tell you that one. And as someone who's lived in student accommodation, things can go south pretty goddamn fast because you're living in such close quarters together. So I would have liked that aspect of real life in this game. If it's just easy, if it's just fun, if it's only going to benefit me, I'm not going to find that much enjoyment from it. I don't want sunshine and rainbows and happiness. Life and I want to represent that in The Sims. I'm happy about the death with the Murphy bed though. I'm not gonna lie, that one took me by surprise. I love the style of the pack. I love the aesthetic of the pack. I love the premise of the pack. I just think that some things they went too hard on, like just including any type of object, and some things they didn't go hard enough on, like including tiny living objects. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. I really wanted to like this pack. I do like it. I love it. And I'll use the objects all the time. And I just want more. I think the Sims team can bring us more. I'm not going to be offended if my Sim like has a breakdown because she's claustrophobic, Darren. As much as it's my duty to like bring Sims content to you, it's also my job to call a spade a spade. And this pack was a bit lackluster for me. And because I love The Sims so much, that's why I'm giving constructive criticism, because I want this to be the absolute best that it can be. Now, if this was called hipster living stuff, blown out the water. But it's not. It's tiny living stuff, and I'm failing to see the tiny living aspect. I've really enjoyed seeing loads of people come together, and I've been having so many tags on Twitter being like, oh, I tried the tiny home challenge, and I love the fact that it's drawing inspiration from real life things. I've really enjoyed this whole process of the pack actually coming out. I'm gonna end this video here. Please don't sack me from the Game Changer program. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Sorry for calling a spade, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.